running body kick again.
Yeah, Sirski. This is a very odd episode because I got pickers beside me instead of in the box beside me.
I gotta talk that shit now.
Yeah, he can because I can actually hear him right now. I can actually give him these knuckles. But also, we got my man Mallory Woods in his hotel room because he is at the Battle of Atlanta. We are also in Atlanta for the UFC and to go check out the Battle of Atlanta. And then we got my man Mike Tyson in that beautiful green room as always, ready to give his beautiful insight. So we got a good episode for you today. It's gonna be a quick one. Just kind of like a riffer today, man. We're just gonna go at it. Got to get some good topics, but first off, before we start, I want to go to Mal. Mal, you're at the Battle of Atlanta right now. This is a huge for karate community. One of the biggest tournaments of the year. And you'll be commenting today. Kind of give the people like kind of context on like your role and what you're doing with the Battle of Atlanta out there right now.
Sure. So as you mentioned, the Battle of Atlanta has been going on for 50 plus years. It's one of the major karate tournaments in the United States, one of the oldest karate tournaments in the United States. It was started by Joe Corley. It's had anyone who's anyone in karate type of superstar. I've seen Chuck Norris here. Mac, one of Mac's favorites, Bill Superfoot Wallace has been here. A couple of years ago, I met the kids from the Karate Kid show that was on here before that blew up and everything. We've had Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles. It's one of the best places to be, and it's a great fighting tournament as well. But man, sitting here in the Cobb Center, the Braves are playing tonight from spitting distance right from my hotel. But I got to call some fights about 7 o'clock, which is good. And of course, just to show, I ran into your cousin just a few minutes ago.
Yes, shout out my cousin. I think we talked about him briefly on a show like a while back that I had a cousin in Alabama who actually owns a dojo. Shout out my cousin David Johnson. He's actually been training and doing stuff for a while. So if you check out right here, we don't have the best screen share today, but you can see kind of
going analog.
Yeah,
baby.
This is him and his student. They'll both be competing alongside some of his other students. She's actually competing tonight. I think you'll be commentating one of her bouts tonight. So huge weekend for the karate community and huge weekend for combat sports. Because like I said, me and Pickers are in town for the UFC. Shout out V-Chain hooking us up, always showing good love over there. We'll be out there representing them and kind of like doing our thing with the content out there. So huge week for Atlanta in combat sports. You also got Malcolm Wellmaker who's on this card. Somebody who's a local that's going to be fighting this weekend. It's going to be super dope to see what he brings to the table in front of his hometown crowd. So massive. Also, me and MMA Pickers will be coming over to hang out with Mal at the tournament. So you'll see some content coming soon. Also, we got to hang out with Adrian Weathersby yesterday at Buckhead MMA, brand new gym in Atlanta. They have expanded the Atlanta kickboxing and karate. So if you guys know, we've had Adrian Weathersby before. If you haven't checked it out, we got an interview. You go check it out in our full interviews. But we went over there, hung out with him, got a lot of great insight. We watching him train. Super dope too, because like I said, he's in an MMA gym now. So it's quite different. He's training, being more all around. So we got some content with Adrian Weathersby coming out. Should be on the page sometime this week. But man, huge week, man. We got a lot going on. A lot of massive things in the mecca of Atlanta. So I'm ready to talk about it. It's a lot of good topics on the menu. So let's just jump right into it. First off, I guess we should jump into this first. Some new news. John Silva versus Diego Lopes has been set. And I think as combat sports fans, we're all super excited for this fight.
Bugging out.
I mean, come on, Pickers. What you got to say? I know you loving this.
Well, Gene Silva reached the MMA Pickers pound for pound #1 favorite fighter this year after his beautiful performance. So I'm super excited for my favorite fighter. Lopes, obviously, also a really, really good young prospect. This is a huge jump in rankings for Silva. Right now, he's outside of the top 10. He's going to be moving up to, I believe Lopes is #1 right now. I think these guys are very similar in a lot of ways. Both have a lot of power. Both have a lot of real good striking. Both of them are, young up and comers. Silva's undefeated right now in his UFC career.
Got a pause going on. Yeah.
While we wait to get them back,
yeah, there you go.
Talking about the Battle of Atlanta again, one thing I found interesting, I think it was that tournament where Shark Boy from Shark Boy and Lava Girl got recruited for that movie.
Yeah, we lost you guys for a second, so we just carried.
Okay.
We lost you right as he was describing Silva.
And he was going, bro. He was going.
Right.
Not gonna lie, he was going. So we're working off a personal hotspot right now. So sorry for any technical difficulties. Like I said, we're on the road. This is a kind of running gun show right now. So sorry for that. But shout out our amazing hosts because they keep it going, baby. That's what we do at the Warriors Verse. We keep shit going. But before we bounced out, we were talking about John Silva and
so yeah, obviously super exciting fight. Two of the best young guys in the division. Lopes coming off a very admirable effort from his loss with Alexander Volkanovski. His only other loss in the UFC was he took a fight against Movsar Evloev on 6 days' notice, who's undefeated, by the way. Lost a split decision. Basically gave him everything he could handle on the ground, pieced him up on the feet. A lot of people are still mad about that decision. This is a really, really exciting match. I do think Gene Silva has a very similar style to Volkanovski. With he's got real fast hands, really good footwork, really good at moving in and out. Stays constantly moving. He's a moving target. I do think that could potentially present some problems for Lopes. And, after Gene Silva's last performance against Bryce Mitchell, I'm actually kind of excited to see what happens if these guys go to the ground. Because both of them have really, really good grappling pedigrees and some really good wins against good grapplers on their resumes. Yeah. So that should be a banger, banger, banger. Whatever card that's on, that's fight of the night, the people's fight. So, I mean, there's nothing bad to say about that fight. That fight's going to be incredible. The press conference is going to be incredible. Everything related to that fight's going to be incredible, and I really hope they do that card justice.
Now, I think I did see something about Yair Rodriguez and those guys still shooting bows and arrows again between those two camps. So you almost got to – that fight is almost inevitable. And I think Diego was saying that, obviously I lost and Yair won, so it's kind of like at a different – pace right now, but I'm glad to see he's getting active. And you're right, Gene Silva, Diego Lopes, that should be an absolute star-studded just match in itself. Silva looked like he was toying with Bryce Mitchell. He looked like the older brother's like, oh, I'm going to beat that ass, but I'm going to have fun doing it. I can finish it here right now, but I'm not going to do it right now. You haven't suffered enough. That's who look. And when he finished Bryce Mitchell on the ground, Bryce Mitchell either looked like he had just saw Jesus or maybe another historical figure. Yes. I don't know. I'm not going to mention the name.
I'm going to just say I was able to witness that happen to Bryce Mitchell twice. So life's good.
I think it's you. I think it's you.
Live. It's me. It's definitely me. Bryce, if I'm in the building, you're going to see the lights for a little bit, but then you'll come back. It's all good. Just like Mike Tyson just came back. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's beautiful.
It is, see?
Just like that. But yeah, man, I'm super excited for this fight. I love Diego Lopes. Tough fight for him against Volkanovski. And you want to get back into that titleship contention. You take out a guy who's coming up the rankings aggressively, very fast. He's getting dominant performances. I mean, Gene Silva I'm looking at his record right here, right? 16-2. He's got 12 by knockout. He's on an 11-fight win streak, and he's got 9 first-round finishes, right? This is the type of guy you want to see against a Diego Lopes, somebody who just fought for a championship belt. Both of these guys have a lot to prove. John Silva's got to prove that he deserves to be in the top 5 and deserves to be in title contention. Diego Lopes has to prove that that match against Volkanovski may not have been his best night, but he can do better. So, I mean, it's all around great. It's all around great for John Silva. It's a great opportunity for him. It's a great opportunity for Diego Lopes. A great opportunity for the fight fans to be able to watch it. And I'm down, man. I'm all down. I'm in the crowd all day if John Silva's there. So, you know what I mean? Let's get it. I'm with it.
By the way, I saw a short about why he barks.
Really? Give me insight because I need to know this.
I know this. I saw this too. I know what you're talking about.
You right there beside him. Go ahead and lay it out for me.
It's his alter ego. It's also why he walks out in slow motion. When he fights, he has an alter ego. He's no longer Gene Silva. He becomes the animal.
So his name is the animal? Is this nickname the animal?
No. That's just something he said.
Oh, okay.
His nickname is Lord.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I thought his name was Lord.
It's just something. His first fight ever in the UFC, his walkout took almost 5 minutes. He did the entire walk to the octagon in slow motion, and everyone's just like in his nerd glasses, and nobody knew what those were yet. And everyone's like, "What the hell is going on here?" And the fight starts,
Right.
and it was Wes. It was a karate guy from Stephen Thompson's gym. Wes, can't remember his name, but he got knocked out in the first round, and everybody came around to Gene Silva real quick.
Wes Wilson.
It was Wes Wilson. Yeah, Wes Wilson.
Yeah,
there it is.
Wes Wilson, first round knockout.
Yep.
4 minutes and 12 seconds in.
Yep.
KO,
And Wes
TKO.
Wilson's like over 6 feet tall too. So
Jesus.
Yeah. Is it, so what more that I was going into that he also adapted that barking to I think he bonded with one of the family pets, and he would bark to like calm himself. He was in a really bad family situation, so he would bark, which like made him feel calmer. So he has brought that over, because that is literally something. I will have to get that video and I'm going to send it to the group, because it was a deep inside look. Yeah. So there's a little bit deeper meaning in there as well, and it's funny how you will carry something like that. Obviously there were some things that affected him in his life, and that conformed to his persona personally, how that comes, in your life and like that. And you carry that on. And now and look, the guy can bark all he wants. He laying belt the ass like that. You know what? Bark, you can crow like a chicken, you can do whatever you want. I'm all for it. And I'm here for it too.
Yeah, 100%. Just don't put him and I Show Speed in the same room. We're gonna have too much barking going on.
Oh man. Well, you know what?
there only one dog can reign supreme.
Yo, I want to see them have it. That's what I want to see. A video of I Show Speed and John Silva, or God bless the dead if he was still here, DMX and John Silva going back and forth. That would be absolutely crazy.
I feel like someone's gonna end up unconscious.
Yeah, I think it might be DMX. But listen, we digress on that. Matt, you got anything to say on this this Silva Lopez situation before we move on?
No, not too much. I am looking forward to tomorrow's card, though. Looks like it's going to be a very good one. Especially looking forward to the co-main of Namajunas versus Maverick.
Yeah, I am too, but I never know what Rose is going to show up. So it's like I want to be excited, but then I'm like,
2-1 on Maverick ain't bad.
Yeah, 2-1 on Maverick ain't bad. I mean, Miranda Maverick's no slouch, right? She's fighting Rose for a reason, so I'm excited for that. So I mean, honestly, I'm more excited for the prelims and the undercards. Like I'm excited to see Philip Rowe fight. Shout out Phil Rowe, Paul Craig, Mascati.
That was supposed to be a main event fight. Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato,
which is crazy. Yeah, and is it on the early prelims here or something like that? Malcolm Wellmaker, the local guy, the local kid coming up the ranks. He wants Moutinho to win. I love Wellmaker. So okay, hold on. The video that we'll post will be the Moutinho versus Wellmaker fight, and me and him, because I'm gonna put some money on Wellmaker.
I love Wellmaker.
I'll take Wellmaker probably by like decision.
You can't even bet methods on that one.
For real?
I took Moutinho.
Well, no, it was too early. It's too early.
Moutinho's 18-1, boys. Let's ride it.
Yeah,
Let's
go. The question is, are y'all going to go there? Are you going to be there for the early prelims? Are you guys going to be part of it?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I expect. And it's funny because
not only am I able to take pickers to his first UFC, I'm able to take my lady to her first UFC, and she watches early prelims to the end.
So you guys
I have
to build it like
I'm not gonna ruin her experience. She's not gonna allow me. We will be out of here on time.
I've missed 2 early prelims in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
2 early prelims.
Those are good stats. Good.
Yeah,
good stats.
We'll definitely be there. We'll definitely be in the building tomorrow, and I can't wait, dude. It's a lot of great fights. Like you said, Rose, always exciting to see her, because you want to know what's going to happen. Also, if she shows up, it's very exciting a lot of the time. She's got a lot of great finishes. She's done a lot of good stuff. So
definitely,
let's hope Thuggy Rose shows up, do what she got to do, man. Because
last person to beat Zhang Weili.
Yeah, the last person to beat her, for sure. But now Zhang's a beast. Ain't nobody touching that girl right now. But let's move on to this next topic. O'Malley versus Merab just happened over the last weekend. Merab won in stunning fashion with a submission win. Absolutely insane. So, I mean, the question now is Merab Dvalishvili now considered the bantamweight GOAT?
He jumped up.
Do we put him in that slot now?
Yes.
Yes. I think you saw a new. If there was one of the constant things that is difficult for a champion fighter is to get new wrinkles in their game. Because one, you now become the hunted. You have to defend all these young lions that are coming after you, and you're always fighting 5-round fights. So you're always up there, and they're always sitting the best. What we saw was an attacking Merab this time. Merab, look, man, when I punch someone in their face and they smile, it doesn't bother me, but if I've done it 5 to 10 times and they still smile and they're joking and they don't look like they're breathing heavy, it kind of sets up in a little bit here. And you can see how he fatigued. He used his cardio as a weapon and then caught Sean in that choke. At first, I thought it was a Darce, but later it plays a ninja choke. If I got that right, it was not a Darce choke. It was a ninja choke. It was the finish. And he just locked it on it. And I was like, man, I know Merab has submissions, but I've really never seen him. But he jumped on that, and I do believe that since O'Malley was tired, it was an easy tap, just like, you know what? Hey, I'm not getting out of here. This guy's going to be on my back. Live to fight another day, man. Let's pick it up.
Yeah, man. Pickers, I know.
It's pretty spot on right there. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to argue he's not the bantamweight GOAT because we can look at his title reign and we can say, oh, he fought O'Malley twice and Umar's a good win. But just remember how long that guy was Aljo's number 2, just crushing the entire, basically playing Max Holloway at 135. I mean, he went through Cejudo. He went through Jan. He went through Aldo. He went through Morales. He went through everybody.
Yeah.
And then to cap off his most recent performance with his first career submission, I hate him for that because I bet the decision.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to learn my lesson from last time. I bet the decision.
New lessons to be learned.
Yeah. No, new lesson learned. Yeah. I'm always learning new lessons in this sport.
Every week. You know what's even crazier about the submission is when I'm looking at the stats. Well, no, that's okay. That's just for this fight. It was the only submission attempt. He landed it. But also just looking at like before the submission, total strikes 141 to Sean's 38, significant strikes 52 to Sean's 31, head strikes 33, 33 to Sean's 14. It was just pure dominance in 6 minutes and 29 seconds of control time. So I mean,
a lot of guys can land 20 strikes in a minute once they're on the mountain, you know.
Yeah,
but also with a guy hustling you like that the entire time. Look, when you're in the ring and someone has decided I'm pressing the gas, right? Most fighters will say, okay, I can defend this. I can move around. I can, especially like if you're doing anything where you can clinch, you can grab a breath or two. But the thing is that this guy keeps coming. It's like I may get a breath here or there, but he's still going. Like you mentioned before, Apollo and other shows, you got a chance to see him roll all those minutes, and Merab gets up and he's like fresh as a daisy. You don't even see him breathing heavy. That does things to you when you're trying to, especially if you're in the back foot and now you're in a reactive mode. It's terrible. It's terrifying.
Yep, 100%. When I see you do something in the ring, that's one thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, they can do it when it comes to that, or it's whatever. If I see you doing it in training camp, if I see you going to the max in training camp, when you're getting ready for a fight, and I see you pushing your limits and stuff like that, I know what you're gonna do in the ring. Because if you know anything about combat sports or anything about sports in general, you don't win shit in the game. You win shit in practice. You win shit in training. You win shit by practice. Exactly. You win shit by making sure you know what to do because you have done it repetitively over and over and over and over again, and you make sure your body's in the right condition to be a champion. And that's what Merab is. Merab has championship tenure. Same thing with Arturo Vergara from Karate Combat. That's why when them two work together, I'm like, you guys are perfect for each other because you're both absolutely insane. You're both crazy.
What do you think his resting heart rate is? Like 1? I don't know.
Bro,
all of it.
Oh, like it's just crazy. So yeah, I mean, I'm in total agreement with majority of the panel right now. With Merab being the GOAT. I mean,
he's like the Chuck Norris of bantamweight.
Yeah, dude. He's just killing it, dude. Shout out to Eddie M. I respect the grind, y'all dropping the stream. Shout out, help these guys out. Appreciate that, brother. Shout out Eddie M. Throw that up there for people to see, my dog. Appreciate you. We don't mean to cover Mac Tyson. He just always. I don't know why you always him at the bottom. I'm about to make one that fits us all straight across the top. I think I'm gonna do one where it's a straight line across the middle. I'm gonna set one up for next week because we can't keep cutting Mac Tyson off. That's my guy. Mac, you got anything to say about this, man? What you feel about my man Merab the Wallace, really?
Well, I think I agree with a lot of your guys' points, but I'm coming from the opinion of he's on the cusp of being it. I don't think he is it yet. I don't know. I don't know if his reign at this point is greater than like Dominic Cruz's reign in UFC history. Like if Merab would fight Dominic Cruz today, it's easy Merab. But when we're looking at greatest of all time, we're looking at the fighter in their prime. How would they do today? And also, most importantly, what was their reign like compared to other reigns? And Pickers brought up a good point about what he's done before his title reign, and that's definitely need to be counted. But a key thing that people will look for when they look at the GOAT is more that title reign, and it's too short of a title reign right now.
Is that right?
Call him.
Is that correct? If you're beating title caliber guys, anyways,
Yeah.
is that the right way to look at it?
Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. When you look at his last wins, I'm gonna just name them off for you, Mac.
Also, look
Jose-
at the win streak.
I know it. I know.
Jose Aldo, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov. So it's like,
And he had more guys before that. I mean, you got Marlon Morales there.
I'm just talking.
Would you argue, even with that,
Dodson,
including, like, let's say those were all title defenses, would you, because also that's the other aspect is, were those all 5-round fights too?
No, but he won them very dominantly.
Yeah, in a Habib type fashion.
Yeah, very dominantly. Like he shot 50 takedowns on Peter Yan.
Yeah, that's an absolutely.
And that's also the argument I have with like Khabib is that Khabib has a great record, but like if Merab retired today, could I comfortably say he is the GOAT? I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean,
how would you put Dominic Cruz?
Could you argue?
Yeah.
Could you argue that his reign right now is better than Dominic Cruz's?
Yeah, because Dominic Cruz lost to Henry Cejudo, Dominic Cruz lost to Cody Garbrandt, Dominic Cruz lost to Marlon Vera, and Marlon Vera lost to Sean O'Malley. Merab absolutely violated Henry Cejudo. Merab absolutely violated Henry Cejudo, took him up on his butt cheeks and took him over to Mark Zuckerberg and slammed him through the mat. So, I mean, these are the people that Dominic Cruz lost to.
Let's also acknowledge that if Merab wins 4 or 5 more fights, he has the longest win streak in UFC history. Yeah, like he's getting pretty close to that.
Yeah,
like I said, he's on the
and not a discount because Dominic Cruz has T.J. Dillashaw as a championship win, Demetrius Johnson is a championship win, Uriah Faber is a championship win, Joseph Benavidez as a championship win, Brian Bowles is a championship win. Like
I wouldn't even put Cruz 2; I'd put him 3 after Aljo.
Yeah, you do got Aljo out there too. Mm-hmm. You do got Aljo out there too. So then maybe that's maybe a better argument is has Merab outshadowed Aljo yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it Sean O'Malley win strictly?
That's part of it.
Yeah, part of it.
Yeah, because he did it twice. And also, I mean, one of the things is that like those guys are neighbors and those guys are best friends and those guys are training partner. Aljo is probably the happiest guy in the world to see his training partner not 100%. Only hold the belt, defend the belt, but to continue to rise and do it in great fashion. How many people knew Merab was that funny until he started dropping videos and doing stuff? It's just like the definitive look for Merab for me is when you had Sterling and O'Malley in the ring, and he took Sean's jacket, and he's standing there with this grin, just waiting to be acknowledged. And I think he still has the jacket. I mean, if you go back and look at that video, he is just there grinning like, "Please notice me, please notice me, please notice me. I got your jacket." And it is absolutely funny. Because we're looking at this one moment, but this growing moment that happened behind us is something we didn't know we were going to get for the future, and a guy that's going on a great title run and having fun doing it.
Yeah, 100%,
definitely. Yeah, I remember the jacket bit. That was great.
What is it going to do to change Mac Tyson's mind on Merab being the bantamweight GOAT?
I just need to see him defend the title like 3 or 4 or 5 more times.
How many title defenses did Cruz have?
Like 7.
7?
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big number.
Quite a few. The issue is I've seen this happen a lot, where like with UFC fans, where a champion gets into a position similar to Merab, and everyone's always is automatically calling him the GOAT, and then maybe in 3 title fights later they lose, and then they go on a losing streak, and no one considers him the GOAT anymore.
Yeah. 9 title defenses is the correct answer to that.
9 title defenses?
9. Well, 9. Yeah, with 9 title defenses, he lost 2. Well, it's 10 title defenses.
Strikeforce?
No. Oh, yeah. No. So if you take away those, UFC starting at Uriah Faber 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 that he won. 7 that he fought. 2 he lost.
No, but think about his longest.
You also have to include the WEC though.
Right. Yeah.
His lot. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So
he only had 3 defenses in his longest title reign in the UFC.
Yeah, because he won the belt from Uriah Faber, right?
Yep.
And
the one thing.
Also, I still think his resume is better than this. Like, these guys are all great, but yeah, his resume is still better than this.
Well, one thing I think that the GOAT conversation has
Oh,
to shift.
these are L's also. You're just counting.
Yeah, I know. I just said I said these two, the top two are
Oh, so
L's.
he never even defended the title twice.
No, yeah, he lost to Henry.
Yeah, Merab already has a longer title reign than Dominic Cruz.
Are you sure? I gotta check that because
We're
that's
looking at the record right now.
Oh, no, I'm pulling it back up.
Right.
Because that's surprising.
But the one thing I wanted to bring up is you got to shift the GOAT. You got to shift the GOAT conversation with the era. Let's say this, for example. You can only be good as the era that you're in.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey was considered the greatest woman champion of all time, but
nobody there.
Right. I was just look at the competition. Like I think that in terms of if you're going GOAT status, John Jones has gone through multiple champions or would-be champions in his run but who's available? You can only be as good as your competition. You need a dance partner. It's great that the Bantamweight division is the way it is right now, but after you clean it out at a certain time, if you don't have anybody new that's coming on up, does that taint your legacy? It's not your fault because there's just nobody there available. So I think that grain of salt, enough for high blood pressure.
Or not doesn't necessarily affect the outcome. Like whether it's your fault or not is inconsequential. That's just fairness at that point. But fairness.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
But definitely something to be discussed. Hey, that's definitely a conversation over beer and wings.
I hear. But I mean, listen. I think everybody in every division outside of heavyweight right now has plenty of competition to work with. Every division outside of heavyweight, because heavyweight's being held up, is pretty damn competitive.
Well,
I guess this is the issue: is that like when it comes to title, I was thinking more title wins, like title fight wins.
Yeah.
Which Dominic Cruz has 5, 7 if you include the WEC.
WEC, yeah.
Which
how many lost?
The WEC bantamweight division became the UFC bantamweight division.
Basically.
Yeah, but 3 title losses.
So I think you have to include that. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we have to see Merab's career play out a bit more. What my argument is Merab is the definitive king of the bantamweight division right now. He is the man. He is a legacy in the making. I can't comfortably say he is the GOAT right now.
Dominic Cruz.
But I don't argue anyone that argues that he will be the GOAT.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz lost his first title fight.
Yeah.
It's not like a losing streak afterwards that tarnishes him. But I mean, when's the last time Merab lost? 10 years ago?
Ricky Simone. He got choked out by
It's got to be almost 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's like 15 fights ago.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it's the win streak more than anything. And how dominant he's been throughout the win streak. Like, when was the last time he was in a close fight?
I mean, you could say Sean O'Malley, the first fight. You could say that
wasn't close.
Well, that's probably the closest one we're going to get.
That wasn't close.
Peter Yan fight was pretty close.
Yeah, I was that might have been close. I have a question for discussion, and then unfortunately I got to bounce to get to production lunch.
Okay.
But waiting in the wings is Corey Sandhagen, and Corey looks like he is at least reemerged. I think he's kind of got a little more of an edge. Maybe I was swayed by that video he did with Kamaru Usman, which I found funny, which I actually found like I was more of this.
He's coming into his content bubble too, and I love it.
Yes.
Not to cut you off.
Right. No, but you're right. But and also, this is a topic that I never thought I would bring up, but I heard it crediting McMalley for this. But they had him on his show, and he said that Sandhagen has an OnlyFans.
Yeah, he does, but he just posts like regular content.
It's not that kind of OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's not.
But he said he made money off the specific type of picture.
Jesus. Well, it's quite a few females that have OnlyFans in the UFC as well that don't. But Chris Cyborg also has an OnlyFans, and she only posts like exclusive fight content.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
You already checked it out?
Nah, I just know she's there. I don't have. It's crazy. The only time I did sign up for OnlyFans was to watch a combat sports event.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that does give you exclusive like inside of it, like, hey, this is me training, this is me cutting weight, this is me.
Well, no, it's exactly. Yeah.
I do find it interesting the people that use OnlyFans as like an alternative to Patreon and post like cooking videos.
Well, because
Patreon does. I think
UI is like stuff that what's the name has. Are we chopping up?
Yeah,
you chopped it for a second. You came back right away though.
Okay,
but I didn't hear.
I was just saying, I think it's the UI limitations on Patreon versus OnlyFans and stuff like that.
Wow, you sure know a lot about OnlyFans.
I mean,
What
it's
you
around.
saying?
It's like it's a sponsor of like combat
Honestly,
sports.
this takes one major non-adult
Maybe I have it on my
worker, OnlyFans,
Right.
like content creator to start shifting the perception.
To get the legitimacy. And there you
It's
go.
not
And
on
look,
my phone. It's not on my phone.
Subscribe.
if they would like to be a sponsor, I'd like to say right now, we can we definitely be open to it. I'm just
Shit,
saying.
we'll start OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? We showing all feet pics of BJJ.
I mean, look, listen,
right?
to be completely honest with you,
I'll show you the violator pass.
oh man, no. This
What
is
we
taking
say?
a turn.
Exactly what it sounds
I
like.
was saying, to be completely honest, I do have an OnlyFans account. There's only one. There's only one person to subscribe. So I'm still working on the S.
Got you. OnlyFans. I got it. Now I got it.
Terrible.
See,
Terrible.
there we go. But yeah, I think my boy Avery, he was fighting on some I forgot which one it was. I want to say it was CFFC, bro. Yeah, and we had to like start an OnlyFans account, but then they was like a verification was like 24 hours. I was like, yeah, fuck this, I can't watch it. And I watched it. I called my boy, and he streamed it because he was watching
the Russian
it.
link next time.
Okay,
CFFC streams illegally.
He was watching it through his laptop and just holding it for me while he was fighting. So shout out my boy Avery. He should be fighting soon again. But yo, Mal, I know you got to go. Anything else you want to say? Any closing statements you got before you get up out of here?
I'm super excited to see you guys. I don't know why I didn't think about it that we're all going to be in the city of Atlanta at the same time. So I got you guys passes. Call me. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. It's been great. Mac, wish you were here, man. We gotta figure it out. Hey, we're gonna do some.
Grab him. Hold on. Let me grab him. Hold on. I'm gonna bring him up. Hold on, Mac. Are you ready, Mac? Just
there it is.
Facts. Dragon Ball Z.
It fits in between my fingers. See?
There you go. There we go. You got a little Mac. I'll put you in my pocket, bud. All right, now, man. Appreciate you, brother. We'll see you soon. Check out my man Mal. Is there any way they can watch the karate the Battle of the Atlanta? Is it streaming?
Yes, they can. It will be streaming for Friday Night Fights. Thank you for that. I forgot. Go to Battle of. Let me see. Let me get the URL really quick. But you can Google the Battle of Atlanta Karate. Let me get you and it will stream. I think they stream it out on their Facebook page. It may be streamed out on their YouTube page. Let me get it real quick. The Battle of Atlanta Karate. You can go to thebattleofatlanta.com and find all information and find the streams and find your boy doing some comment tonight. I may say something stupid. You never know.
And here we go. I just put the link in the chat for everybody. I think only see it on YouTube. I'm sorry if you can't see it on X. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you can't see it on X, come subscribe to us on YouTube, man, and come get the link. Shout out Mal. It's our gracious co-host. Is one of the reasons why I keep on the show, because he is in this for real. He's been doing this for a very long time. Very, very knowledgeable about martial arts and karate. So we're blessed to have him on the show. And tonight we'll be watching him live, baby. So we'll see you later, Mal. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the combat sports that is being given to you and your days off from the actual workplace.
Exactly.
And we'll see you in a bit.
All right, boys. Take care.
Combat sports gods.
Thank you, combat. Gotta love them. All right. Well, we got to move on to some more topics. We got a few more things to talk about, and I know we'll all love to talk about this one because the king of the Congo, my man Francis Ngannou, has reportedly opened to making a shocking UFC return. Now I don't know for sure who this person is. Who is Eric? Oh, Eric Nixick. I'm stupid. I don't know who this person is. Can you slap me, please? Slap me real quick. Slap me. Just sorry. Yep. Okay. Okay. There we go. All right.
Can't affect the moneymaker. Bro.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You're right. Karate Combat might sue you. No, I'm just playing. But Eric Nixick said the Predator make another run at regaining the belt. Enough time has passed. I would love to see the mend the fences and get back into competing in the UFC. Nixick told Home Fight. Nixick said his basic logistical hurdle is two parties, meaning Ngannou and the UFC, making amends. Which, if you know, they've had like an ongoing situation for years now, ever since Ngannou left and quite a bit before. So it says 100% Francis would be open to return to the UFC. Nixick added, I think it's more about business than it is about ego. At least it is from Francis' side. So saying that Francis is a little humble. Francis is humble about the situation. He wants to kind of come to agreements to come back to the UFC. And as he should. UFC is the best organization on the planet when it comes to pure MMA. I mean, it gets no better than that. And we've seen that over time when guys come over. So, if you want to be ranked among the best of the world, you want to be saying you're fighting the best of the best, and you got to be in the UFC. And we got some great guys over there that he can fight right now. We got Tom Aspinall. It's a few matchups that are in there that we wanted to see him fight. Yeah. Yeah. But we've been wanting to see those fights. We've been asking for Ngannou to come out to fight these guys too. So it'd be beautiful to see him return. Eric Nixick and the guys over at Extreme Couture have a really good relationship with the UFC and Dana White. So I feel like it's not something that's far-fetched. It's not something that can't happen. I just think it takes, maybe hopefully the people that were butthurt, or, excluding Dana aren't there anymore. And it's a little easier to get past that and a little easier to get to that point. But I think I agree that we all want to see Francis Ngannou return to the UFC, brother.
I think if the numbers make sense, the UFC will do what's best for business. I just have a few, like when I saw this headline, I had a few questions immediately. First off, as far as I'm aware, he signed a 2-fight, $20 million deal with the PFL.
Yes, sir.
He's had one fight with the PFL.
Yes, sir.
So I'm not quite sure what their exclusivity clause is. I don't know if he's not allowed to take fights elsewhere, if he's considered a private contractor and he just owes them 2 fights. But I'd be very interested to learn more about that. Also, I do think if he came back to the UFC, the main angle would be John Jones, because that's been a fight that's been in the work for literally 5 years, and that's big money, and they're both also veterans. But I wouldn't hate Ngannou versus Aspinall. You could make the argument those are the 2 hardest hitting heavyweights of all time.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to see it. Mac, what's your take on this?
I think everyone wants to see Francis Ngannou back in the UFC. It just really depends on the terms, and obviously if because the fact is that UFC is not going to co-promote with PFL, especially the position PFL is in right now.
No way, never. You're
So,
100% on that.
Yeah.
If he's going to sign with the UFC, it's going to be probably similar to the old contract offer, where it's a good amount of pay, but there's still this same exclusivity clause. So it depends on if Francis Ngannou is over that. If he had enough fun in boxing already.
Could sign a 1-fight deal.
It'll be beautiful.
Is UFC interested in just a 1-fight deal?
Yeah. I guess if he
The
wins
money.
the belt on a 1-fight deal, that's pretty F for them.
I mean, then it would probably
Yeah,
be
2 or 3.
it'll probably be a non-belt fight.
Oh, against Jones. Interesting.
So you give Jones says, I don't care to fight Tom, I don't care to keep the belt. Let Tom get the belt, and then you do Jones and Ngannou as a legacy fight to end it off.
And then you do Cyril or John, or Jalton and John.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalton and Tom.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. So, I mean, we need some more good heavyweights. I mean, I think Ngannou, in my opinion, I think a majority of people would agree, is the best heavyweight outside of the UFC right now.
Oh, it means top 3 in the world. Those are the top 3 guys. There's no
Yeah.
questions. John Jones, Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
I think everybody from everywhere agrees those are the best guys in the world.
So you want to see those guys in the same building. You want to see those guys on the same roster, the same rankings. And you want to see them fight each other. I mean, I think John Jones versus Ngannou is way more appealing to me and anybody else than Tom Aspinall, John Jones. I mean, I honestly feel like people would rather see a non-belt fight with John Jones and Ngannou versus a belt fight with John Jones and Tom Aspinall.
I think they're equal.
You think so?
I think people want to see Jones fight a much, like, he hasn't fought a scary heavyweight yet. Like, yeah, Cyril Gane had great striking, but we all knew exactly what was going to happen in that fight.
Yeah.
And we all knew, like, yeah, Stipe was the best heavyweight in the world 4 years ago, and he's probably the best heavyweight of all time per resume, but he was like 43, 4 years of inactivity. It wasn't much of a fight. We haven't really seen John Jones in a fight at heavyweight yet.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of questions about heavyweight John Jones that need answering. And I think fighting Aspinall or Ngannou, either one answers those questions.
Right.
The first heavyweight to get to 5 title defenses is the GOAT. Because right now the record's 3.
Yeah, which is Stipe, right?
Yeah.
Well, Stipe's for sure the UFC GOAT.
Yeah, it was the most decorated heavyweight in the UFC history. So
yeah,
Also
but I think a UFC heavyweight champion that gets to 5, I think, is easily.
If they do, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
you'd have to.
Assuming
it's
the division is no less stacked than it is now.
yeah, it's equivalent of getting
the
seven.
opposite of stacked
It's
now.
the equivalent of
It's
getting.
not stats.
It's the equivalent of
That's
getting
what I'm
seven.
saying. Assuming it's at least not.
It's been worse. Remember we had Tim Sylvia as a champion for a while.
Let's not talk about those days. We are in better days now.
There's just
are we?
not enough guys that big.
Yeah, we do have the GOAT as champion, even though he
He
never fights.
doesn't fight. I love him to death, but god damn it, Jonathan, get your ass in the goddamn ring. Tired of your shit.
Too busy under the ring.
I'm glad they stripped him though, because the division needed to.
Did they strip him?
I read that.
Nah, they said they were
I don't
talking
think that's
about
official yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he said they can strip me, and Dana was like, "That's nonsense. I don't know why he's talking crazy like that." But that's not saying that Dana is saying that because he's not going to strip him. He's saying it like, "Why the fuck doesn't my champ want to fight?" Because it's said that John agreed, they agreed, they said that they would pay the money, and then now he's playing.
A little
games.
part of me is still holding on to hope that this is all manufactured buildup, but it's a long time for manufactured buildup. I'll say that much.
I will say though, John Jones retiring or just giving up the belt and just taking on super fights, and Tom Aspinall.
There are no super fights for him. Well, there's Alex Pereira, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah, but like, let's just say John Jones retires and Tom Aspinall becomes the champ.
Mhm.
That's a better scenario than John Jones fighting Tom Aspinall, him defending the belt, retiring, and then Tom Aspinall winning the belt.
Yeah,
Better for the UFC, yeah.
Because there's
Makes the
always
champion better.
the best is Tom Aspinall beats Jones and he becomes the next thing. Like it's the passing of the torch. But however, if Tom Aspinall is the champ and he lost to Jones, the division becomes really stale.
still as fuck already.
Because it's already not in a great position. And then if you add that on top of it.
If he loses like Dominic Reyes lost, I don't think it makes the division stale at all. If he gets dominated, I agree with you. But I think if you even give it, just because it's John Jones, if he even gives him a good fight, like the best fight he's had in his career, especially at heavyweight, I think.
Yeah, if it's controversial, I agree.
Yeah, but if he goes in there and just dominates him, I agree with you 100%.
Or even if Tom Aspinall but it's still one-sided. Like it's undebatable that John won, but people are still
Tom performs admirably.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think just because the endorsement.
I lost you guys. This was easier to do when I had Mal to bounce off of.
All five.
There we go.
There we go.
Do you think that Diego Lopez stock dropped after the Volkanovski fight? Because I certainly don't think so.
Yeah, nah. He went against the greatest.
Yeah, he went against the GOAT of featherweight, and he took him right to the brink and knocked him down twice.
I agree. It's what I'm trying to say is it's a high risk situation, and it's not a bad situation if Tom Aspinall and John Jones never fight.
Yeah, it's not. Honestly,
bad for the fans though.
You know, it is. It's terrible for the fans, but for my $51,000 bet that I could win, I really hope that John Jones just walks away and they give Tom Aspinall the belt. That way, I don't have to see Tom Aspinall actually beat John Jones for me to get my $51,000.
How much on that bet again?
$2.50. 51,000. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say this shit real quick since you want to bring it up, you fucker. Here's this bet I have. Chat, listen to this shit.
Yo, King Apollo Picker is about to lay down the $51,000 cheat code.
It's $2.50. Look, $2.50 for 51,000.
Read it out. Read it out.
All right. Listen. So this is all of the champions. January 1st. This is degeneracy at its best. Let's run it. Tom Aspinall, because I don't think John Jones is gonna fight him and they're gonna strip him and just give it to Tom. Magomed Ankalaev, because I don't think he's going to fight again by the end of the year. And if he does, I don't think it's Alex and he beats everybody else. Dricus Duplessis is going to show y'all that he can out-wrestle Hazmat, and you're hearing this from a Dricus hater.
You're a traitor.
I said I'm a Dricus hater. I had to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not betting against him again. So fuck it. I'm
On
rocking
paper, he loses that fight, but we all know he can't read. So
yeah, so he can't read. So it doesn't matter about paper. You know what I mean? You might as well write it in the sky. Jack Della Maddalena because I don't think Islam is going to beat him. Charles Oliveira because I'm hoping to God he chokes out Ilya Topuria. Alexander Volkanovski because he will remain the GOAT. Rob Blalishvili because, as we talked about earlier, nobody's touching him. Alexander Pantoja is the best winner of all time, and nobody's fucking with him in that division. You import motherfuckers, he export them right back out, so it don't even matter. And the last one to top it off is Kayla Harrison because she probably will not fight Amanda Nunes until next year because Amanda Nunes has a whole year off. So if all of those are champions on January 1st,
Silva's knocking out Volkanovski at the end of the year. You heard it here first, folks.
shut the fuck up. You know what? You're right beside me. Remember that. Now listen.
If you ever hit me and I find out about it, you're going to be in trouble.
Y'all fucking hate you. Anyways, if that bet does hit, I will say this right now. I will give away the extra 1,000 on the 51,000. So that extra 1,000 on the 51,000, whatever the 1,000 and leftover is, we'll give that away on the show to one of our subscribers. So January 1st, tune in because we might be rich as fuck. You might tune in. We might all be in the new studio. No, we're not. $50,000 ain't getting that shit. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm a degenerate, and that's what degenerates fucking do. That's what we do, baby. That's what we fucking do. So, all right, few more before we, well, actually, not a few more, but I got one more I really want to talk about before we get into the betting segment with my boy MMA Pickers, and that is, dang, which one do we do? This one or this one?
Crawford Canelo.
All right, yeah, we got to talk about it. Crawford Canelo.
Dana's first fight in boxing.
Yeah, Dana's first fight in boxing. And for a little while, you heard people talking about, oh, Dana's got nothing to do with it because they didn't have him on the promotion thing and all this stuff. And they asked Turki Al-Sheikh in like press conference or something the other day, and he was like, what? Dana's definitely on it. Like, and then they asked Dana, and Dana said the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm definitely promoting the fight. Doesn't matter what y'all seen on paper. If y'all know, Turki Al-Sheikh is heavily embedded into that TKO boxing group and everything that Dana White's got going on all around the board, not just in, boxing and UFC, all of that. They're working together with all that stuff. So to think Dana White's not going to be a part is absolutely insane. But the thing I do want to say is I'm a little upset with Oscar De La Hoya, who has criticized the hype and Dana White's role as a promoter in the situation, right? First off, shut up, cokehead. We don't care. Like, we don't want to hear it. Like, okay, we don't want to hear it. And at the end of the day, if you know anything about Dana White started in boxing and then transferred over into MMA.
He was supposed to have a professional boxing match against Tito Ortiz 20 years ago. Fun fact.
So at the end of the day, it's not like he doesn't understand boxing. Not like he doesn't know boxing. He was training in boxing. He was working in a boxing gym. He was managing boxers before he even went to the UFC. So to say that his role as a promoter and referred to him as the trust fund baby of boxing, which is absolutely insane. Like, you're talking about the man who took the UFC, which was considered human cockfighting, and took it and made it the #1 sport damn near in the world.
6 million to 14 billion in 15 years.
Okay. So, I mean, what the fuck is boxing doing? Oscar, what have you done? Because all of your fighters are with Turki Al-Sheikh and him now. So it sounds like you a hater hating from the sideline. Also, that's all I'm saying.
Golden Boy pays terrible.
Terrible. That's why everybody left. They don't have Ryan Garcia no more. They don't have fucking Canelo no more. They don't have anybody anymore. Everybody went to Top Rank. Everybody went to Turki Al-Sheikh and his shit that he's doing. And everybody's going to end up coming to TKO. So Oscar, I mean, you can say what the fuck you want. You can say he's a trust fund baby, whatever. Dana White comes from humble beginnings. Dana White built his shit up. Dana White's own mom don't even fuck with him. Like, so it's not like he's coming from this place of money and all that shit. He built his own shit up. He helped build the UFC up. He's one of the main movers of that shit. So if you want to talk about promotions, he's one of the best promoters ever. What have you built other than your career and your legacy that's as what Dana White has done here in boxing? You haven't. And
you look terrible in the dress.
You have issues with your own people fighting on your cards. It's absolutely insane. So, I hate this rhetoric. Like, at the end of the day, one, UFC is bigger than boxing now. And then let's just get that out the way. Like, and I'm a boxer. I come from boxing. UFC is bigger than boxing now. People know more UFC fighters than they do boxers. And it's just a simple fucking fact. It's just a simple fucking fact. If I ask somebody if they know who, what's his name? what's his name? Fuck, I can't think of his name. The kid, Ben Whitaker from UK, the kid that competed in the Olympics. It's crazy. Be doing all that stuff. You ask me who Ben Whitaker is, they don't know who it is. But you ask me who Israel Adesanya is, it's a bigger chance they're gonna know who he is. And that's somebody who's not even considered at the top of the top no more. You know what I mean? But they'll know who Israel Adesanya is. They'll know who John Jones is. They'll know who Conor McGregor is. They'll know these guys. You know what I'm saying? And you can go back and everybody knows who Muhammad Ali is and Mike Tyson and those guys. But it's a big difference between what it is now and what boxing used to be. When I grew up, Fight Night round 2 era, Fight Night round 3 era, boxing was it. Nobody really played UFC unless you was a diehard UFC fan. Now you can't find people that want to play those boxing games anymore.
Let's go.
Yeah, Undisputed, you got that, but barely people play that. More people play UFC 5. And when UFC 6 comes out, I don't even think boxing games will have a fucking chance. You know what I mean? So
the only argument you could make for boxing, I'd say, is that the biggest boxing fights are still bigger than the biggest UFC fights.
Yeah.
When there's a big boxing event, it's a cultural event. Even non-combat fans tune in to watch a big boxing event. Like it's just a cultural experience.
I mean,
where UFC is shining, what you're arguing definitely is UFC has become the top combat sport when it comes to that week-to-week combat sports viewer.
Mm-hmm.
It's undisputed.
Yeah. And boxing has been week to week for fucking 80 years.
Yeah.
Ballroom boxing is every Friday. It's been like that since I was a kid. I used to watch ballroom boxing when I was training as a boxer as a kid. And you know what? For that fucker who was in the comments, take that. Since I just like boxing, you dumb fuck. I just told you that UFC is better than boxing coming from a boxing background. So sorry, that was somebody who was in the comments. Yeah, the comments. He was like, the guy up top doesn't even like MMA. He likes, just go watch boxing. I'm like, bro, shut up.
And the fact is, all the new combat sports and even existing ones like kickboxing, they follow the UFC model because the boxing model, only boxing can survive on it, and it's basically off of tradition.
Yep.
But it's the boxing model killed kickboxing for a while.
Yep. Well, boxing is too slow paced for me at the end of the day. So I think bringing in people like Dana, who kind of picked up the pace, but not too much. I think Karate Combat has the best pacing that I've seen so far. They just keep the show fucking moving. And I like that. I think UFC would keep the show moving. They kind of do a better job on pay-per-views, but when ESPN is involved, they kind of have to stick to these strict commercial breaks. And so it's understandable why the pacing is a little not as fast as the pay-per-views are Karate Combat. But I think Dana White could come in and help implement things into these productions and these promotions to help it get to a point where the UFC is at and people to understand it more and start attaching themselves more to these boxers. Because, bro, when I think about growing up, bro, do you know how massive people like Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, fucking even fighters
today,
like Miguel Cotto, who was a fucking Puerto Rican guy who barely spoke English at one point. Like, you had these guys that were from all over the place. Julio, what's his name? Chavez. Like, you had all of these guys that people knew from boxing, and now it's like all you know is Gervonta Davis, and that's because I love Gervonta. Gervonta's a great boxer. I don't want to take that away, but he's in the headlines a lot for other shit, so people know him for that. And it sucks because I wish they just knew him for his legacy, but he's got in trouble with his domestic violence situations. He's got in trouble with the police and the law enforcement. Like, so it's things like that bring it to the forefront. And then you have these blogs like TMZ and the Shade Room and all these motherfuckers who come and speak on these things and never speak on his combat experience and stuff like that. So you have these people who know about like Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, because he's a bug out and he's did all this crazy shit and he's making all these headlines, but they don't really know them. Like, if you ask them like who's Ryan Garcia fight, they're probably only going to be able to say Gervonta Davis. You know what I mean? So no
one really knows boxing rankings that well.
No, I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you.
While the UFC, like in UFC, you know how many people are Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fans? Wonderboy sadly never even won a belt. How many fans in boxing can say that their favorite boxer is a fighter that never even won a belt?
No, it's not many. It's not many.
There's tons of fighters like that in the UFC.
Yeah, it's tons of fighters like
one
that.
of the most loved fighters.
Gilbert Burns is another one. Yeah. Like the list goes on for days.
Chael's like the OG Conor McGregor, if you think about it.
Yeah, 100%, man. But I think my
biggest issue with boxing though is that the top guys don't even want to fight each other. Like For a while,
it's changing now. Yeah, for a while it was like that, and I blame Floyd in
too
them
many
for that.
organizations with too many guys.
Yeah, it was
but
Floyd.
like,
It was Floyd.
like if you go back like 5-6 years, the heavyweight division was like the most alive it had been since like some of the golden era.
Yeah,
But it kind of died off because the top guys were taking way too long to fight each other.
100%. 100%. Yeah, when by the time Mayweather and Pacquiao fought each other, Pacquiao was out of his prime. Pacquiao was on his decline. So, yeah, man, I think Oscar one needs to back off a bit. Some of these boxing purists that are kind of like don't want UFC or MMA involved or want Dana White involved because he's connected to it, man. Just relax. Like the guy's done great work over years. You've seen the proof is in the pudding of what he's done, what he's accomplished, what he's taken the UFC to. So let him try his hand in boxing. He comes from boxing. He has an extreme love for boxing. He's a massive boxing fan. He loves Mexican boxers. And like, it's not like he's coming from a place of like, oh, I want money. No, it's a place of love. So, I mean, people like that's coming in, you should welcome them with open arms. I think Oscar De La Hoya is just he's just hating right now, man. His stuff's not doing as well. Losing all his fighters. He has nothing to do with the Canelo Crawford situation. So, I mean, it's definitely hating from the sidelines, but shout out Dana. Dana's still doing his thing. I don't think Uncle Dana give a fuck about any of that shit anyways, to be honest with you. Oscar's probably talking to a wall right now. So, yeah, man. I want to see what's going to happen, man. I'm also excited about this Crawford-Canelo fight. I want to talk more about it probably like next week, but yeah, man. Any closing statements on this one before we get into this last one?
Closing question more is, like, UFC has announced the UFC BJJ, and it's obvious that there's going to be UFC fighters that are allowed to cross compete in that, just like the UFC Fight Pass Invitational and stuff like that. Will the UFC, though, allow their fighters to compete in TKO boxing events, though?
No. Because you can go through a jiu-jitsu match and not get injured.
Yeah.
You go through a boxing match, you're on the shelf for a few months.
You can't even do combat jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And UFC.
Jiu-jitsu, simply because you tap and you're good.
It's gi and
they don't expect you to get injured in a jiu-jitsu match the way they expect you to take damage in a boxing match.
100%. Yeah. I don't see that happening. But speaking on that,
it could be a guy maybe like Sean O'Malley if they want to make a super fight. I could see something like that happening, like a cross promotion. But I mean, it would be very, very rare. It would have to be like a McGregor-Mayweather situation.
About 100%. But listen, I'm glad you said that too, because I didn't even think about that to even speak on this. But speaking of UFC BJJ, man, I want to pull this picture up real quick, man.
I haven't even seen that yet.
Real quick. Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, it should be your first time. Yeah, it is. I'll say some more stuff off screen, but all right. So check out here. Shout out Yahoo Sports. Give them their credit. I want to pull this up right here, actually. Open image, a new tab. All right. So, I mean, it's not the best. It's not the best picture, but you can kind of see it. I'll try to zoom in some more. Control plus. All right. So, UFC BJJ was announced last week. Claudia De Gadeo is a big part of this. Mikey Musumeci. What's the other guy that's going to be the other coach for the BJJ show? So basically what they're doing is they're setting up the UFC BJJ, which is going to be another league basically tied to the UFC. On top of that, they're also starting the BJJ show, which is going to be basically the Ultimate Fighter for BJJ. And on top of that, they have a new formatted octagon that looks oddly familiar. I mean, oddly familiar. You know, because it looks like a pit. So as you can see, Karate Combat has set the tone, and people understand that with jiu-jitsu, striking matches, whatever, one of the best environments you're going to be able to do this in is a pit. And it shows it is. Now, this is a new rendition that we haven't seen yet. I was calling it the Octopit. The Octopit sounds, or what was I calling the Pitagon? The Pitagon. The Pitagon or the Octopit. I like either one of those.
People are calling it the Octobowl.
The Octobowl, I like that.
I like that too, but I like pit better because it came from us. There's no way anybody else is gonna say that this pit does not come or have a strong what do you say? Well, I can't think of the fucking word right now. influence Karate Khan and have a strong influence on this right here because
CJI.
not only CJI did it, not only did we have massive amount of fighters from the UFC. Well, not massive. We had at least like 4 or 5 fighters from the UFC, some from the PFL, some from LFA, a lot of the fight farm leagues that go through the UFC come over and do this. Dana White and we're on UFC Fight Pass. So they know who we are. They know what's going on. We work with them closely. To be honest, when I saw this, I thought we were going to be involved with this, but I think it's Karate Combat's not going to be involved with the UFC BJJ situation that they got going on. But I'm just saying, I've been telling people, and I think all of us on this show, is that the pit is the best scenario for combat sports, especially Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where you have a lot of resets, which create boring matchups, which create, the people lose positionings and things of that sort because of a limitation of the actual, surface that they are performing their combat sport on, right? They're performing jiu-jitsu on. This is going to allow for continuous action all the time. Now, minimal resets, and it's just gonna bring more. So it just shows the pit is supreme, bro. I'm sorry. The pit is supreme in combat sports. It is the best of the best. We've seen it in a lot of things now. CJI was huge. Then you do this. We just talked about what the UFC is to combat sports. You know what I mean? So shout out Karate Combat, our sponsor of the show. Download the Karate Combat app right now because you can also make your picks. And if you do have the Karate Combat app, go into the app now because you can make your picks on the brand new. So we've had a few of these renditions. We had the bowling league that they had to put out, and then they did the Premier League for the soccer ones. And now they have an A7FL, which is a football league. And you could bet on these two teams right here. I'm at vote on these two teams. It's not betting. It's no loss betting. So you can vote, but you can't lose. You can only win. This one is smaller, but you want to download it. If you don't have download, go ahead and make your votes on this one. You can up your karate token. But also next month, we have a fight card coming up. So you'll be prepared for the fight card. You get some karate tokens off of this event right here. So shout out Karate Combat, our sponsor of the show. Big dog shit. You know what I'm saying? My dogs over there. But moving forward, man, what was, I guess this is your first time seeing it, Mac? What was your thoughts when you first seen the Octopit or the Pitagon?
I love UFC, but my first thought was that the classic copy my homework but change the answers a little bit.
Yeah, basically. And at least it ain't the Soldier Boy. He copied my style, word for word, bar for bar.
Yeah, but I think it just goes to show how great the Karate Combat pit is, and that they want to imitate it instead of doing like one does and getting the cage involved. Because they could have easily done like the UFC cage.
Yeah, 100%. UFC cage is cool. I think for jiu-jitsu, because it's majority on the ground, and I know when I'm actually at fights, and you'll see like when you're at this fight this weekend, whenever it gets to jiu-jitsu, I always look up at the screen. I'm never looking directly into the ring or the octagon because it's a hard visual, right? They're right at that corner. Normally it may be a camera guy right there standing at his position. Mm-hmm. You may not be able to see what's going on.
I made them bring me tall chairs because of that.
So yeah,
the first time they tried to give me chairs like the ones we're sitting on now, and I was like, no, I need some bar stools.
Yeah, so
I already knew that was going to be a thing. As soon as I saw that pit, I was like, yeah, I need to be able to see that.
Yeah, so you're able to get a better visual like this, you know what I mean, than versus a regular octagon. So I can understand from the point of that. But like I said, shout out. I don't know exactly. I got to find out my history. Mac, you may be able to tell me, but I don't know exactly who designed the pit or whose idea it was originally. I know I seen Adam post something on LinkedIn about basically, being a part of the influence of what the pit was and being happy that he's seeing it in the UFC and like how far it's influenced people. But, shout out to
it was a collaborative effort of like all the OGs. Like I believe Adam was involved. I believe Zoltan was involved. I believe Rob and Michael DiPietro were involved. Robert Bryan.
Yeah. So yeah, man, shout out them because I mean they've started, a new environment for combat sports. They started a new stadium, you can say, a new coliseum in a sense for warriors to have a, an acceptable and formidable rounds with minimal, resets and distractions and things of that sort. And also opens up the door for a lot of shit. Think about how much cool shit we've seen BJJ guys do in the pit.
Oh, how about that flying triangle?
Flying triangle. You got Craig Jones into the flying triangle as well.
I'm
on the side of the pit. You're talking about off the wall. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, the flying arm
That
triangle.
was some WWE shit.
So, the amount of things that has happened off the pit. I mean, we've seen guys jump off the pit, try Superman punches. We've seen guys jump off the pit, try kicks. We've seen guys run up the pit and use it as an evasive and an escape maneuver. Like,
we've seen guys use the pit to pin people down and ground and pound the shit out of them.
100%. So, it shows that 45-degree angle just adds that enough level of dangerousness, right? To the point. I wonder if
it's going to be 45 degrees.
It looks like it looks kind of curved, to be honest. It looks more like.
No, it's definitely that's why people are calling it a bowl, because.
Yeah, because a pit would be. I mean, it's still
rounded.
Pit. Yeah,
I imagine it might even be even easier to do a double leg takedown in this bowl, because it's already easier in karate combat to do a double leg takedown. That's why. For striking, it's not for karate combat, which is striking, it's not loud because it's just too easy, and we want to keep the striking focus. But for jiu-jitsu, where you want to get it close on anyways, having easier takedowns is not negative unless it's a wrestling competition.
Hard agree.
100% agree, man.
Hard agree.
I could not argue with you there, but yeah, man. Shout out to UFC, man. Expanding the BJJ scene. I think we've been talking about this for like the last year or so. BJJ got a little stale.
Now.
One's cooked.
Once they add in 4-ounce Muay Thai, one is cooked.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody was asking too, is the big debacle between the fans, is which the fans always have something to say. It's always they're never satisfied, and I understand Dana why he just doesn't give a fuck. They open up UFC BJJ, they start this show, they do all this stuff, and then the fans go, "We should have did kickboxing." So it's just like,
I mean, he got TKO.
Yeah, you got TKO, so go watch boxing, no kicks, all right. So yeah, the fans are never happy, but hey, listen, you got some more.
It's not big enough for Dana White.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
You got some more BJJ leagues to watch. You have a show to watch now that's going to be high production value, showing you the new guys coming up in the ranks, showing you the new guys that's going to be the face of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the future. Can't argue with that, man. Like, I know a lot of people have their ifs and buts and whatever about wrestling and all of that shit, man, but get over it, dude. Like, it is what it is. If you don't like it, guess what? The beautiful thing about life is you don't have to turn to the channel. Like, you don't have to watch it. You can literally go watch anything else you want to. So it's no need to complain about it. If it's not your thing, it's not your thing. Move the fuck on. Let them do what they're doing. They're trying to make BJJ great again. UFC, Craig Jones, a lot of them are going through. I think I did see something too where Craig Jones was kind of mad at Claudia Gadelha. I don't want to speak on it, and this could be completely wrong, and that's why I'm saying a lot of stuff be rumors. I'm going to look more into it this week and see. I may release a video on it, just a separate standalone video. We'll talk about it next week. But yeah, I think I did see something about like Craig Jones was a little upset that they used kind of this style after he did it with CJI. And Craig Jones went through the proper, and I'm not saying that UFC didn't go through the proper stuff because UFC didn't use the exact pit that we did. But Craig Jones came and he worked with Rob and them as far as getting the patent and being able to use the pit and use it as a major broadcast and in a profitable way, right? So he went through the proper procedures. This is totally different from the pit. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I think Craig Jones was a little mad. Karate Combat doesn't care. Like, Karate Combat's cool with it. They posted it. There's, they look at it as an influence, right? Like I said, the pit is influence in combat sports. And I think as a combat league, if you can influence other leagues and leagues that are starting, I mean, you're doing the right thing, right?
Definitely.
So, shout out Karate Combat, man.
I mean, I think the pit is the future of jiu-jitsu. I think that much is clear to everyone because the biggest problem with jiu-jitsu that CJI set out to solve was how slow-paced it was and how much everyone stalled in certain positions. And the pit eliminated a lot of those problems for some of the reasons Mac touched upon. So this is genius. The UFC putting this in just further mainstreams this transition for jiu-jitsu in general. And I think we're going to enter a new, very fan-friendly era of jiu-jitsu that's going to mainstream that practice a lot. No. Hoist Gracie would be very proud, or is very proud.
I definitely think, though, there's a hard limit, though, on how mainstream it can get because jiu-jitsu is very technical. It's not like fighting where, you can know nothing about fighting and enjoy a fight. It's hard to watch a jiu-jitsu match if you No, zero. Like if you're UFC fans, you get a bit more understanding and it's easier. And the other aspect that I'm wondering, because this, assuming UFC is going to be doing this, like, because knowing Dana White, he's not like one championship where there's going to be UFC BJJ matches on a UFC card. This is a separate thing with a full fight card. So where I'm wondering is, are people really going to be into those mid-level jiu-jitsu matches? Because when it comes to one championship, you see the best of the best, and it's just 1 or 2 matches. CGI was a full card, but it was all the best of the best.
Right.
But
the first day or two was kind of like in between. The last 2 days for sure.
No, it was the best of the best. All days. Everybody in that tournament.
You sure?
Except for Luke Rockhold, everybody in that tournament was world renowned.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I for sure.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
in order to get the invite to the tournament, you have to be world class.
Okay.
And to be fair,
but when it comes to grappling, and you see this with like the UFC when it goes to the ground, high level grappling, very entertaining. At low level grappling, very entertaining. That mid level grappling where people are kind of canceling each other out and not really getting anything off.
Yeah.
It's not that entertaining.
Well, the reason people cancel each other out in MMA is because the premise is that whoever's on top is winning. So people are a lot more conservative from both sides in that position. Because, on the bottom side, you don't want someone to pass guard because they can do a lot of damage. On the top side, you don't want to give up that top position. And one of the things that CJI did to really incentivize more risks being taken is award damage points for submission attempts, start scoring rounds with a 10-9 system. And it encourages the grapplers to take a lot more risks. But I actually think most of the things you touched on are correct as far as the actual sport being entertaining itself. But one thing I think that has been a big draw, will continue to be a big draw, and will be one of the things that brings us to the forefront, and one of the reasons I think it really can go mainstream, is all of the big personalities in the BJJ space, like really big personalities, entertaining people. And I think the UFC specifically, we see they have a knack for basically taking something, turning it into a reality TV show, and then turning it into a sport. I've seen it happen like 3-4 times already. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to do really well with the BJJ reality show. I see that going over really well, especially with how nuts some of these guys are,
Yeah, 100%, man. The only shitty part is, and I know it's not going to happen, but I want to see Craig Jones in that. Like, I want to see Craig Jones in the UFC BJJ shit, but it's not going to happen. I don't think it will ever happen.
I think if you throw a big enough bag at Craig, it will.
I think he'll feel like he could just get a better bag by himself because what he's already done. You know what I mean? Like that CGI, that CJI was massive for him.
And also
he packed out that arena. I was there. He packed that shit out. And I was there on like a first day. I was there the day. Was that the day Luke Rockhold?
Yeah, that was Luke Rockhold, Pat Downey.
First day, yeah.
When he dapped up Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, I was right there when he dapped. I was right there while I watched that. Like, I was like, he walked. So DJ, I was gonna talk to DJ. He walked past me. I was like, oh, he's going to the bathroom. I'm gonna just catch him when he comes back. He comes back with 2 hot dogs in his hands. Like, man, I can't come ask a man for a picture with 2 glizzies in his hands. This is actually insane. So I had to leave that alone. I got to see Demetrius. And then I seen who else was there? It was somebody there. It wasn't Paulo Costa. I want to say it was Caio. It was one of them Brazilian guys I seen out there too.
He was at KC recently too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. Shout out UFC. Shout out to BJJ scene, man. Getting more opportunities. I think the biggest takeaway from this is that BJJ practitioners and competitive people in the space, men and women, have more opportunities now. And I think that is the best thing out of all of this, right? We can have our give and takes on how we feel about the environment, the structure of what they're combating on and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's more opportunity for the BJJ scene. It's more opportunity for them to make money. It's more opportunity for them to build their brand, take care of their families, and foster the next generation of BJJ, because majority of the competitors become the coaches, right? They become the ones who foster the next set of people. So shout out them, man.
Can't really hats off to the practitioners, because they're really the ones that built the sport. Like, it wasn't built solely off BJJ being the most exciting thing ever. It was built off of them knowing that if this is to take off, we need to bring personality into this.
Yeah.
And that's where kickboxing really struggles, because I think a lot of people would agree that kickboxing and like entertainment Muay Thai, not traditional Muay Thai, is more exciting than submission grappling and jiu-jitsu.
100%.
But where they struggle is with the promotion, because a lot of those fighters have a mentality of, okay, I'm here to train, make weight, and put on a good show when I fight. But when it comes to that promotion aspect, a lot of those personalities are lacking.
Yeah. Well,
no one is excited for a kickboxing press conference most of the time.
No. And I noticed that too. The kickboxers that come over to karate combat are the least like exciting ones. I'm sorry. I love you guys. You guys are exciting in the ring, but on the fight buildup, it's like, come on, dude. Like Cosmo came over, he's like barely doing anything. He barely spoke. Tyron Spawn came over. We were in the press conference of weigh-ins. He's like, I don't like doing this shit. I just want to fight. And I'm like,
gotta respect it though.
yeah, I mean, you gotta respect it, but also you gotta respect Sam Alvey as well, because he talked this shit and backed it up.
Fighting is fighting, business is business. You know?
There you go.
But I think the biggest issue that in the foreseeable future that can happen, but that is now with this growing, and there already being two big spots of one championship having exclusive grapplers, and I imagine UFC is going to have exclusive grapplers, and they're not going to cross promote. I think there'll be some flexibility. Like I think UFC grapplers will be able to still compete in ADCC. We'll see about CGI. These professional grappling leagues are not going to be cross-promoting. So will we start seeing less of those matchups that people want? And there's not as many big stars as there are in like other sports. Is there enough of those big stars to really spread them out?
Nah, not really. Not at the current state, I don't think.
The only advantage UFC has is the fact that they have their UFC fighters, which are big grappler names.
Yeah, 100%. Well, a lot of crazy stuff going on, man. We'll see how this pans out. We got one more segment before we let everybody go. I think Mac, we'll let you go since MMA Pickers is gonna end it off. But shout out my man Mac Tyson. Mac Tyson, give your socials so the people that are watching can know where to follow you at.
It's pretty much at Mac Tyson Karate on everything.
There you go. It's my man, Mac Tyson Karate, the Karate Encyclopedia, but also Combat Sports Genius. I appreciate you, brother, and your time. We'll see you next week. We got some shit to talk about next week. I think we'll be able to talk next week. We got some shit for y'all, we promise, but we waiting on who we say we could say. You know what I mean? So shout out Mac Tyson. Make sure you follow Mac Tyson Karate on everything. And we are going to get into MMA's picks of the week. And actually, I'll be with him on this one this time because yeah, I'm beside him. I can't hide this time. Usually I hide on this part and I'm not able to, say it. But MMA's picks of the week. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, where you cannot really use DraftKings. But if you're in the state, you can use DraftKings. We got our bets going. We got our bets up. I actually didn't get any bets in. I found out I can use Bravado and some other shit out here. So I put in some few bets for the fights. But this is MMA picks of the week, and I'm here with you. Let them do it. I'm actually gonna give you the mic so you can get into it.
Perfect.
There you go. You don't even.
Do I get to clip it to my lapel? No, this has been a lifelong dream of mine. I've always wanted to clip a mic to my lapel.
Okay, well then let me turn the mic down.
It's real now
because this mic is blazing right now, so I don't want you to. Whoops. What's the name there? Ears real.
I'll do some ASMR.
We'll
nice and soft.
Real quick. There we go. Bring it down to about 127, and there we go. This is MMA picks of the week, and he has a mic on his lapel.
Check it. All right. So I'm going to run through this fight by fight. I'm going to try to give you the best bet from each fight and give you my advice on which one of these are actually good and which one of these are the best bet of the fight. So first off, first fight is Jamie Lynn Horth, Canadian fighter, very good grappler, has a nice, weird, awkward striking style. She's on a good win streak. I think her last loss was Jasmine Jasdavicius. And she's fighting Vanessa Demopoulos, who's had a few lackluster performances. Jamie Lynn Horth is a massive favorite at minus 625. I think the best bet in this is to take her by decision at minus 250. I think she does win most of her fights by decision regardless. She's got real good grappling. I think she's going to give Demopoulos real problems on the ground. My one concern is if she gets a sub, but it's not something she does often. She's relentless with the takedowns. She definitely had a few fights that were tough against tough grapplers where she wasn't able to secure them. but I just don't see that being the case against Vanessa DeMarcus. He's also going to come in very undersized for this fight.
Right hook from
Second fight is Phil Rowe versus Angelusa.
I don't know if you guys can tell, but I think there's some audio coming from your guys.
That's a really short right
Unless
hook
it's
as
me.
well. Yeah. Another short right hook to
So
follow.
I don't think that it sounds like UFC sounds. That's gone.
All right. There you go. My bad about that.
Okay, back to it. We got Phil Rowe versus Angelusa. This is a really even fight down the wire. The odds reflect that. Right now, Phil Rowe is a slight dog at plus 105. Angelusa is a heavier favorite at minus 125. And I think the best bet here is going to be over the 2.5. It's also minus 250. Not a ton of meat on the bone. If you do want to play the money line, you really can't go wrong either way. It's a really even, good, competitive fight, and it is a gamble. I guess I would say take Phil Rowe because he's a slight dog, although Angelusa is an absolute killer. But, you know, the minus 250 is a good parlay piece. Maybe combine it with Jamie Lynn Horth by decision, and you'll get some plus money on that. Next fight, we got Ricky Simon coming off of a really good last win, and he's going to be fighting Cameron Smotherman, who had a very close fight with Jake Hadley right before Jake Hadley got cut and went to the PFL, which is a big shock to everyone. Hit a Scottish twister, too, over there. Shout out Jake Hadley. I didn't even know what a Scottish... Oh, that was the mic. My lapel ain't good enough.
Oh, sorry about your ears, guys.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm just going to hold this thing. Yeah, so Cameron Smotherman lost a very close fight to Jake Hadley. Won a very close fight against Jake Hadley, split decision. A lot of people thought Jake Hadley won that fight. I mean, the odds here are very heavily in favor of Ricky Simon. Cameron Smotherman is a bit of a slow starter. I do think if Ricky Simone can find the takedowns, it's going to be a big problem for Hadley. I'm sorry. Big problem for Smotherman. Jesus. And I really see a sub or a decision for Simon. I don't think he knocks Smotherman out on the feet. Smotherman's got a great chin, and he's got pretty clean boxing. So it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I'm trying to look at the double chance here. Let's see. Double chance for Ricky Simon, submission or decision is minus 185. I think that's probably the best bet here. So not a ton of meat on the bone there, but it's a lot better than the minus 600. He could ground and pound him, but I really think sub or decision is going to be the way it goes down. So that cuts you down from a minus 600 to a minus 185. And I think that's what we're going to rock with here. All right, moving on. This fight was added to the card pretty last minute. Cody Durden, you know, I'm sure most of you guys have seen him fight. He's a dog. He's pretty well-rounded. He's very athletic. He's got decent grappling, very good boxing, very accurate striker, pretty high volume as well. Just like a really good, well-rounded guy. Doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses. He is getting a bit older now. He's 34. But you know, that's like kind of right at the end of your prime. But when we look at Jose Ochoa here, I don't know if you guys recognize Jose Ochoa. He recently had a fight with standout Dana White Contender Series prospect Loner Kavanaugh, who's been knocking people out left and right. And he gave him a very, very, very competitive 29-28 decision win for Loner Kavanaugh. But Ochoa was extremely impressive in that fight, showed very well-rounded skills, fought great off his back. He was able to go tit for tat with Loner on the feet. And this kid's only 24. He took that fight on a week's notice. This fight on a week's notice, there's a lot to be said for that. Ochoa is a minus 185 favorite, and I've really been going back and forth on this fight a lot. But I think at the end of the day, I got to rock with Cody Durden. He's the vet. He's got like 25 fights to Ochoa's 8. You know, he's got a lot more UFC experience, and you get him at plus 155. I think that's a great price. I do think there's a very good chance Ochoa could win this fight. Don't get me wrong. He's extremely talented. He's a dog. He's gritty. But Durden's the vet. He's still in his prime. He's very well-rounded. He knows how to mix it up. He's been in a lot of these situations before that Ochoa hasn't. I think that veteran mentality is what's going to get the win for him at the end of the day. All right. Oh, on to the next one. All right. We're going to talk with my head, and then we're going to talk with my heart. Guys, I love Chris Moutinho. And I'm not going to lie, I bet Chris Moutinho because I think it's fun and because he's 11-1 right now. But realistically, the most likely thing to happen here is Malcolm Wellmaker gets a knockout. Could even be the first round. Right now, the odds on Wellmaker by knockout are minus 330. Let me see first round. Curious about that because, I mean, he took out Cameron Simon in the first round. That's pretty legit.
I mean, fight to go to distance is a minus 750.
No, plus. Must be plus.
No, on the fight did not go the distance.
Not go the distance. Okay.
750.
I understand.
It's on ESPN though. So what you guys are seeing too is he's giving DraftKings odds, and this is ESPN odds. So
Malcolm Wellmaker round 1 is minus 105. That's actually really not bad. Although we did watch Chris Moutinho eat all of Sean O'Malley's punches, like 300 of them. So, play it with caution. I kind of want to bet the Moutinho side just for fun. Submission for Moutinho is plus 4,000. I'm dropping on that to win 200 all day. Dude's got a lot of subs outside the UFC. He's got a mean head and arm choke. I'm dropping $5 on plus 4,000. This is my throwaway fight for the card, guys. Tail at your own risk. Chris Moutinho by sub plus 4,000 because he's going to be looking for the takedown. Yeah, he's a good grappler. I'm telling you, he's got a mean arm triangle. He really does. I remember this fight.
No slouch.
All right. We'll move on, though. That's just going to be a fun fight regardless. No hate to Wellmaker. Shout out to Wellmaker. He's an absolute monster. I really love watching him, but you can't not love Chris Moutinho. I mean, he's the ultimate MMA underdog. Next fight's really interesting. I really don't understand the line on this one. You have Michael Chiesa at 18-7, Court McGee 23-13. Both of these guys are definitely on the older side. Chiesa's coming in at 37. Court McGee's coming in at 40. Pretty similar, physical attributes. I would say Chiesa probably has an advantage in the jiu-jitsu, whereas I would give Court McGee the advantage in the wrestling. Court McGee, much better volume striker, though. He averages 4.6 to Chiesa's 1.8. And I haven't seen a lot from Chiesa to really be excited about lately. Like, great, he just choked out Tony Ferguson. I don't even remember the last time he got a win before that. And I really don't understand this line because Chiesa's coming in at a minus 355. Court McGee's coming in at a plus 280. I'm rocking with Court McGee on this one. I'm just going to put a straight bet on Court McGee at plus 280. If you want to get a little risky with it, Court McGee by decision right now is sitting at plus 500. That's not a bad bet either. I think there is a reality where Court McGee is able to avoid the submissions and ride out the top control time. I think there's also a reality where he just outpoints him on the feet. He's been more active recently. He's looked pretty decent in his last couple fights. Even as the underdog, I definitely have hit a couple underdog bets on him in his last few fights. So I'm going to keep the party going, and we're going to rock with Court McGee. We're going to take that value on the underdog money and hope it works out. Oh, boy, this one's a fun one. Paul Craig, Adolfo Bellato. Similar to the last fight, Craig is a massive underdog, probably because he has no striking to speak of. But Adolfo Bellato almost got knocked out by Ihor Potera. So let's also just ride Paul Craig plus 310. Those are pretty generous odds. Bet with caution, because if this stays on the feet, Bellato's going to have his way with him. If this doesn't stay on the feet, I think Paul Craig has a really, really good chance to get it done on the ground. Sub is plus 700. That's pretty good too. So, yeah, money line or sub. I mean, decision plus 850 really isn't bad either. Might just make sense to bet the double chance sub or decision. Although it's not going to do much for you. KO is plus 1,500. Definitely don't bet the KO. But let's take an underdog shot on Paul Craig. I like Paul Craig. Alonzo Menefield, Omar Sy. There's really nothing here. Omar Sy's probably going to knock him out, but Menefield's a ranked guy. He's physically strong. He's got stupid power in his hands. He's got good wall wrestling. I don't really want to touch this one at all. I think I'm just going to enjoy this fight as a fan and not take anything because, with all we know with Menefield, it can be a 3-round war or he can get knocked out in 12 seconds like when he fought Olberg. So I'm just completely going past that fight. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage. I'm actually going to tail King's long shot on this. So before I go into what the actual pick is, Mansour Abdul Malik decision is plus 650. I like that as a long shot. especially if it goes to the wrestling. Cody Brunder's a great wrestler in his own right. That being said, on the feet, there's a very good chance Mansour Abdul Malik knocks him out, or even in the ground and pound situations, just because he's so big and strong. Let's see. Let's see if we can find some value in here. I'm going to look at a same game parlay for this one. We're going to try Mansour Abdul Malik. Let's try Mansour Abdul Malik and fight to start round 2. So Mansour Abdul Malik over 5.5 minutes gets you plus 135. I think that's great value.
Great value.
That's 30 seconds into the second round. Let's do Mansour Abdul Malik over 5.5 minutes for a plus 135. That's not bad, right?
No, it's not bad. I'm just taking by submission just because I'm a degenerate.
Well, you can take him by submission in over 5.5 minutes.
Fire.
Cody Garbrandt versus Ronnie Barcelos. Very, very risky fight. Cody Garbrandt started a nice win streak. Got knocked out by Davidson Figueiredo. We haven't seen him since. Looks like Davidson Figueiredo might have knocked his hairline a few inches back too. That being said, Ronnie Barcelos always been very tough. Very, very good wrestler. Won a very close fight as an underdog his last time out. And even though he's 38, he's a Brazilian wrestling champion. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's very durable, very good striking. I like Ronnie Barcelos to get it done. It will most likely be a decision, in my opinion. I don't see him subbing Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt does have decent enough grappling. But that being said, if you want a long shot, no love by knockout plus 375. That's not the worst odds. Not the worst odds at all. We got to ride with Petrosky as the underdog on this one. Edmund Shabazian's great, but the guy loses when he's supposed to win, wins when he's supposed to lose. We saw how fast he got subbed by Gerald Meerschaert on the ground. I think Petrosky is a much better wrestler than Gerald Meerschaert. Obviously not quite as good with the submissions, but he'll be able to get to really dominant positions. The one thing that does concern me is Petrosky's very, very conservative. We saw he went to a decision with Dylan Budka, basically spent 14 to 15 minutes in mount. I like Petrosky at 145 for a big bet, and I like a sprinkle on plus 325 by points. Although I don't hate a sprinkle on submission too. So maybe a sprinkle on submission or points. But yeah, plus 145 is plenty generous on such a superior grappler to Edmund Shabazian. I think if Petrosky finds a way to get the takedown early, the fight's a wrap. Oh, Nama Yunus Miranda. So first off, got to give Rose her flowers, her rose. She's probably one of the best strikers in the division. She's done a great job against heavy wrestlers in the past, like what's her name, Tracy Cortez. Much better than she did at 115 against girls like Esparza. But that being said, I can't resist plus 200 on Miranda Maverick. So we're going to slam that underdog. This is the night of the dogs. So you guys can get mad at me next week. Because, every time we do Night of the Dogs, it don't go too well. But we're doing Night of the Dogs, baby. Except for this one.
God damn.
Listen, gotta love Kamaru. If he has healthy knees, we're probably fucked. But he was talking about how he's too old for training camps. He's coming off 3 losses to very tough opponents, but 3 losses. You got Joaquin Buckley knocking everybody out, left, right, center, and sideways. When there's one force moving up and another force moving down, and one of them is 7 years the senior of the other. One guy's in his physical prime. One guy's not. You gotta go. You gotta go with the youth. You gotta go with the guy on the proper trajectory. You gotta go with Buckley. The big question is knockout or decision. I don't know. I guess I'll take the knockout because it's more exciting. That's just, as a fan, I'll take the knockout, but it's going to be a knockout or a decision for Joaquin Buckley. So whichever side you're leaning towards, the odds are pretty close on them. Those are probably the 2 best bets for this fight. You can also look at, similar to what we did before, if we take Buckley in the same game parlay and we do over. If you do Buckley over 8.5 minutes, The odds go down to -120. So that's really not a bad bet either because Usman's pretty durable. I mean, he lasted 3 rounds with Khamzat, for God's sakes. And he's got a hell of a chin on him. Has he ever been knocked down in a fight? Oh, by once. By Burns. No, Usman.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been.
He's knocked down.
Oh, and Leon. Leon, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Headshot, that shot. That's true.
Yeah, but
Dumb question.
That was a fucking fraudulent fucking one.
Well, no, it wasn't a fraudulent
he
one.
got it, but we found out that it was a lucky shot.
No, there are no lucky shots.
Beat up, but I'm sorry. I'm just your spot. I'm shut up.
There ain't no lucky shots. Come on now. That was a good game plan. He hit a 1-2 and a left kick. It was perfect. We'll give him his flowers. He's down bad enough. We don't need to kick him while he's down. Yep. Yeah, we don't need.
This is why I'm not in the betting seven. This is why I go away because I gotta give him his.
All right, guys. Well, them's your picks. Let's hope we do good this week. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody coming through. Had quite a few people in today. Shout out to the people that are here every week. We appreciate y'all. Shout out our sponsors, Karate Combat and Brave. Karate Combat, July 18th. Miami is going down. Balt Stadium. We'll be doing some big things. And we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We will see y'all on the next one because this is the Warriors Voice episode.